Hello everyone and welcome to our educational session. My name is Paul Arsov and I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web project. The topic of our educational event today is towards monopolization of the artificial intelligence by the tech elites and their strange alliances. The topic touches on religion and psychology and technology, and it's an intersection of many different goals and aims by the different parts of the population. And so if we're looking at Silicon Valley elites, they navigate shifting political alliances, but one irony stands out at historically socially liberal pro-innovation tech community, which increasingly is aligning itself with an American political faction that is in many ways socially intolerant and religiously fundamentalist. This is reminiscent of the puzzle induced in like a person called Jasmine Sun, a contemporary tech-strong anti-regulatory stance, which can lead them to partner with whichever group promises the least bureaucratic interference, even if the ally clashes with founders' personal social values. Such a partnership raises the question, does this convergence portend a future of AI monopolies, or can an open market ethos survive in a politically fraught environment? So we're looking for strange bedfellows. Tech elites often pride themselves in forward-looking, data-driven thinking and tolerance for cultural, gender, and identity diversity. On the other hand, religious fundamentalists champion traditional social norms and moral absolutes, a worldview at odds with most Silicon Valley social policies. Yet both groups share a common distrust of centralized government, religion, and large bureaucratic structures. Tech founders resent constraints on innovation. Religious hardliners often see big government as an intrusion on personal or faith-based freedoms. By aligning with socially intolerant faction, some tech moguls arguably compromise their vowed social liberalism. Meanwhile, religious conservatives seeking allies against coastal elites ignore the deep secular orientation of many tech founders, as long as they share the broader goal of curtailing federal and state regulatory power. The immediate benefit for Silicon Valley in partnering with deregulation-friendly politicians is fewer obstacles in deploying AI systems at scale, with minimal antitrust oversight or labor protections. Big tech can cement market dominance. This dynamic may foster winner-takes-all conditions. A handful of major AI platforms bought by friendly legislators could use acquisitions, executive data partnerships and exclusive partnerships and preferential policies to outcompete smaller and weaker rivals and firms. Through deregulation can accelerate innovation. It also removes safeguards. This designed to prevent anti-competitive practices. the, the result may be maybe a smaller number of hyper powerful AI corporations controlling key infrastructures like natural language models, data pipelines, and etc. Regulatory conservative administration could also push for content restrictions or AI moderation frameworks aligned with specific moral standpoints. Ironically, that may limit certain forms of free expression, generating friction for a tech sector that historically endorses open disclosure, albeit with varying degrees of moderation. As AI systems become integral to national security, commerce, and healthcare, government support for a few national champion firms could deepen. In this scenario, big tech isn't dismantled, but rather protected as a strategic asset, amplifying concerns that long-term monopolization and shifting competitor entry. Tech pro market disruptive DNA might still produce contrarian founders who reject alliances with socially conservative factions. Instead, they may champion open source AI, decentralized platforms, and collaborative governments, fostering competition and preventing monopolies from solidifying. If such grassroots innovators secure funding from impact-driven or moderate investors, they could offset the hegemonic ambitions of the large incumbents. Major enterprises operate in the international markets where tolerance and inclusivity are valued. Global backlash could emerge if socially repressive policies are enshrined in AI systems, promoting demands for alternative solutions. Many AI startups overseas, like Europe, India, Latin America, are open interoperable models as a competitive advantage. They could fill gaps left by US giants if monopolistic behavior alternates partners and users worldwide. Consumers may rebel against companies and that openly endorse socially regressive policies or exert excessive market control. Even in a less regulatory climate, brand image and public sentiment matter, particularly for platform businesses reliant on user engagement. Where government fails, market forces could demand greater competition and more ethical stewardship of AI. Tech leaders publicly embrace tolerance while partnering with intolerant factions, and they face internal backlash from employees users, and global partners. Religious conservatives may champion anti-regulatory measures that initially serve big tech firms, but their agendas on content, education, and research freedom could ultimately hamper open innovation. Fewer regulations can spur rapid growth, but can also empower incumbents to block future competition, ironically undermining the entrepreneurial spirit that first fueled Silicon Valley ascent into fame. Um, the question, are we headed to AI monopolization, does not yield a simple yes or no answer. In the short term, political alliances between Silicon Valley elites and a socially intolerant, religiously conservative faction could reduce antitrust scrutiny, giving large AI firms room to consolidate power. But in the longer term, tensions could arise as these groups' social values clash with tech's inherent globalism and emphasis on diversity of thought. Moreover, competition from international markets, grassroots innovators, and public pressure for corporate accountability may prevent a total lock in by any single AI behemoth. In this fluid environment, the future of AI likely hinges on whether factions' trade-offs ultimately prove more sustainable. The short-term deregulation that fuels potential monopolies, or the open, decentralized approaches that preserve tech's tradition of disruption and intellectual freedom. One thing is certain, the partnership between Silicon Valley and the socially intolerant faction underscores how power dynamics can reshape technology's trajectory, and whether AI becomes a liberating force or a tool of entrenched monopoly may depend on forces well beyond code and data alone. And with this said, I'm ending this educational presentation, and I'm coming back to the beginning of this presentation when I told you that my name is Paul Arsof and I'm the founder of the Decentralized Web project. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Decentralized Web project and several other projects that we're working on. The Decentralized Web project aims to build a decentralized communication and advertising platform, and the way of decentralization, like most of people think of decentralization as based on blockchain technology. But in our opinion, blockchain technology has fundamental flaws, and it is not suitable to be the driver of decentralization. In our view and our technology implementation, decentralization is based on direct communication from user to user without going through a third party, be it a server or another point which collects data to pass to other users. The Decentralized Web project is monetized through advertising, and it has its own blockchain instance which has tokens, and it is giving these tokens to users who join the platform and to users who view advertising. And now is probably the time to tell you the name and the URL of the website of the Decentralized Web project. It is decentralizedweb.org. Decentralized and web, these are two words, and they're typed all together. Decentralized web. Then there is dot and it ends with org. Once again, decentralizedweb.org. The next project which I like to tell you about is our market market for non-fungible tokens based on three-dimensional objects. What is interesting, unique and special about this is that we have built our own 3D software engine, while most of the creators of 3D objects they use common and popular choices like game engines, and most often these choices are limited to two different choices, either the Unity or Unreal game engines. But our own 3D software engine, what it does is it reads the file of the 3D object, it opens a window on a computer screen, it displays the 3D object in this window, and then it starts animating the 3D object in a way of moving it in a random fashion around the window. But in addition to this initial and basic capabilities of loading, displaying and animating of a 3D object, our 3D software engine has multiple additional capabilities. The first additional capability of our 3D software engine is the capability of speaking. Our 3D NFTs can speak in one of three different voices. The 3D NFTs can speak either in a male voice or in a female voice or in a whisper kind of a voice. In addition to the three basic voices, there are three different flavors of voices. A voice can be spoken either in a normal speed manner or in a fast speed manner or in a slow speed manner. So if we take a male voice and it is spoken in a slow speed manner, then this voice can come as the voice of a masculine person or the voice of an old person. If on the other hand we take a female voice and it is spoken in a fast speed manner, then this voice can come as the voice of a little girl or the voice of a funny person. The next additional and important capability is the capability of voice recognition. Our 3D NFTs can recognize voice commands, and if we are having 3D NFT as moving in a random fashion around the window, we can then issue our very first voice command to the 3D NFT to stop moving. And then the 3D NFT is going to stand still and stop moving. We can issue following voice commands to the 3D NFT to move left, move right, move up, move down, zoom in, zoom out, rotate. And then the 3D NFT is going to fulfill each one of these separate voice commands and move left, then move right, move up, then move down, come closer, zoom in, go further away, zoom out, and start rotating. The next additional and important capability is the capability of the 3D NFT to have basic artificial intelligence. Wow, really wow. The 3D NFTs can, you can ask the 3D NFT what is your name, and then the 3D NFT is going to reply with their name. You can ask the 3D NFT who are you, and then the 3D NFT is going to reply in few sentences of who they are. You can ask the 3D NFT to describe something. For example, describe Web3 or describe decentralization or describe Russia. And then the 3D NFT is going to describe in few sentences about decentralization or about Web3 or about the country called Russia. The last additional but not least important capability of our 3D NFTs is the capability of them being displayed in a way of stereoscopics. What stereoscopics means is that part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in red or reddish colors, and another part of the 3D NFT is going to be displayed in blue or bluish colors. Then you can come to our 3D NFT marketplace, and probably now is the time to tell you the name and the URL of our 3D NFT marketplace. It is 3dnft.decentralizedweb.org. 3D NFT is typed in a way of the number 3 followed by the letter D followed by 3 other letters NFT, and it is all together 3D NFT. Then there is dot, then there are two words, decentralized and web, and they're typed all together, decentralized web, then there is dot, and it ends with org. Once again, 3dnft.decentralizedweb.org. On the top of the website, the main page of the website and every other page, you're going to see a number of links, and one of these links is going to point to accessories. You can click on this link and you're going to see that we are offering special glasses. You can order one pair of these glasses, and when you receive these glasses, you're going to see that one lens of these glasses is red and another lens of these glasses is blue or cyan. Then you can put these glasses on. You can request displaying of the 3D NFT in a way of stereoscopics, and then you are going to see the 3D NFT coming out of the flat two-dimensional computer screen, and you're going to see it in real 3 dimensions. With this said, I'm ending talking about our 3D NFTs, software engine, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about our marketplace. In our marketplace, we have our own blockchain instance. This blockchain instance runs Ethereum software, and it is the same software which runs on Ethereum mainnet, on Binance Smart Chain. It runs on Polygon Matic chain. It runs on Avalanche AVAX chain, and it runs on many other famous or not so famous blockchains. By having our own blockchain instance, then we do not require and do not ask our users to pay gas fees for the deployment of the smart contracts for the non-fungible tokens, and they do not pay gas fees for transactions of transfer of ownership from one user to another user. In addition to this, like we allow our users to buy and receive proceedings from sale in multiple crypto coins, and currently the choices of crypto coins for buying and receiving proceedings from sale include 4 different choices. It includes Solana Sol, Polygon Matic, Avalanche AVAX, and Qcoin, which is big centralized crypto exchange. They have a coin called KCS. But in addition to buying and selling in crypto, we have a second parallel and independent way of buying and selling of our 3D NFTs, and it is done entirely in fiat currency. You can, like if you're user and you come to our 3D NFT marketplace, you can click on the composite image on the main page of our first collection, and then you're going to see all of the objects in our first collection listed one after another. You can click on one 3D NFT that you like, and then you're going to see a short video of this 3D NFT as it is moving, and you're going then to see a drop-down menu which is asking you to select between 4 different crypto coins and the 5th choice of payment with fiat currency. So let's say you select payment with fiat currency, then you're going to be presented with a screen where you are asked to put the number of your debit or credit card, expiration date, CVC, and when you click on the button to make the payment, what is going to happen is there is going to be a conversion from your national fiat currency to US dollars, and the payment is going to be deposited in our bank account. So let's say there is a second user, and let's say that you played a little bit or longer with your 3D NFT, and at some point you decided to put it for sale. You decide on the price that you want to put for sale, and let's say there is a second user who comes to our 3D NFT marketplace, and they browse through the 3D NFTs and they see the 3D NFT that you put for sale. They go through the same choices of between paying with crypto and paying with fiat currency. So let's say they select paying with fiat currency, and then they are putting their debit or credit card, expiration date, CVC, and when they click on the button to complete the transaction and make the payment, what is going to happen is there's going to be a conversion from the national fiat currency of the second user to which could be different than the national fiat currency of you, the first user, and this payment is going to be converted to US dollars and deposited in our bank account. Then we are going to make a second action and a transaction of a transfer of ownership from you to the second user. Now the second user becomes owner of this 3D NFT. Then we are going to make a third action, and we are going to make a transfer and conversion from US dollars to your national fiat currency, and this transaction is going to be deposited in your national fiat currency in your bank account. With this said, I'm ending talking about our 3D NFT marketplace and collection, and I'm going towards the next project that we are working on. The next project relates to electric vehicles, and we anticipate that the current growing number of electric vehicles at some point may become exponential growth of electric vehicles, and the current way of charging electric vehicles may become insufficient and not enough to handle this exponential growth of electric vehicles. Currently, the charging of electric vehicles resembles the way of internal combustion engines which are going to a gas station. They connect fuel hose to the gas tank of their vehicle. They load fuel, they pay, and they leave. In a similar way, there are charging stations modeled in a way as gas stations where owners of electric vehicles can come, they connect the electric cable to their electric vehicle, they start loading energy into their electric vehicle, they stay or wait for a period of time while their electric vehicle is charging, and then they pay and they leave this charging station, which has a limited number of columns with electric chargers for electric vehicles. But so we're working on products in our in this project that I started describing, and these products are going to be mounted at residential buildings at the parking lot of buildings. Many owners of electric vehicles, they are living in high-rise buildings, high-rise residential buildings, and these high-rise buildings have ground floor parking lot or multiple underground floor parking lot. So we are building products which could be mounted at parking lots, and owners of electric vehicles, when they come back from work in the evening, they can connect charging cable at the parking lot spot they're parking. They can start loading energy in their electric vehicle during the evening, during the night, and early morning. But many of these owners of electric vehicles who are living in residential buildings, or many other owners who are not living in residential buildings, they may be working in high-rise buildings, high-rise office buildings. And these high-rise office buildings in the same way have either a single ground floor parking lot or multiple floors underground parking lot. In the same way, we are proposing mounting of our products in these high-rise office buildings, and the users who come in the morning to work in this office building can connect electric cable to their electric vehicle, and they can charge their electric vehicle during the morning, afternoon, and maybe early evening while they're at work. With this said, I like to describe the products that we're building. The products that we're building have multiple charging cables, maybe between 2 and 4 charging cables, which could be connected to up to 4 different electric vehicles. And the charging station that we're building has high power and high current electric switch, and it has controlling logic. It has Wi-Fi, wireless connectivity. It has near-field communication readers, so that the user could identify themselves to the charger with their debit card, their credit card, or their like near-field communication card or a near-field communication keychain token or near-field communication ring, which they could be wearing to identify themselves to the charger. And the product that we're building also contains current measurement device which could measure the exact amount of energy which was consumed and loaded in the electric vehicle for the purposes of billing this electric vehicle owner. But in addition to this capability for the electric vehicle owners, there are benefits for like owners of office buildings and like electric utility or distribution electric distribution providers. The benefits for the electric utilities are so that like with the exponential growth of electric vehicles, like there could be a specified time which the owners of electric vehicle they specify to start charging of their electric vehicle. For example, midnight, because midnight offers lower prices for electric energy. And because of this, there could be a very large load which comes suddenly at midnight for the electric utility. And in order to handle this large load, like electric utility has to bring additional power generation capabilities online so that they could meet the demand. But bringing additional capabilities is not sudden and immediate. So, we have to keep in mind that at any point, the power generation and power consumption has to be evenly matched, so that if there is more power consumption requested and less generation capability, the electric utility has to turn off providing electricity to certain neighborhoods, cities or regions, so that they could bring additional generation capability to meet the demand of electric energy. And these blackouts could be avoided by products like our product, which is reporting to the electric utility the demand which could be coming at certain point of time, or we could provide direct capability for electric utility to turn off and turn on and turn off a specific section of like neighborhood or specific building or specific city even which they are outfitted with the products that we're providing. With this said, I like to tell you the name and the URL of the website of this project. It is power.rstack.com. Power is the ordinary word for power. Then there is dot, then there is a word which I can spell it letter by letter. It is Alpha Romeo Sierra Tom Echo Charlie Hotel. Altogether rstack, then there is dot, and it ends with com. Once again, power.rstack.com. With this said, I'm like when you go to the website, you can see one article that we posted on the main page. It describes the difference between gas station model versus parking lot model in big details. And we also put three different surveys. One of these surveys is on hardware, the other survey is on software, and the third survey is on features and capabilities. You can fill a survey like this, and it is going to tell us what would you like to have. Like for example, we have standard products, but we can customize standard product to fit your needs, or we can work on building specific new products which could handle the requirements that you have. With this said, I'm going to the last project that we are working on. It is about artificial intelligence agents, and the project is called AI to AI. So what it does is it has two different AI entities which are based on different large language models, and these two entities, they are talking one to the other back and forth, and they have interaction, and the user is just an observer of this interaction between the two different entities. When the user sets the initial interaction, they could define the gender of each of these entities. For example, one entity could be male and the other entity could be female. The user can identify the voice pitch. For example, the male entity could have very low pitch, and the female entity could have very high pitch of speaking. And then the user could define the prompt for the initial interaction, the context of initial interaction of the first AI entity, which starts the interaction, and the context of the second AI entity, because the prompt is going to be provided by the response of the first AI entity. You can see the transcript of sample interactions that we are having on our website, and you can see we are going to provide also videos of this interaction where one AI entity is voicing voicing something based on the interaction, and then the other entities voicing their reply on what first entity said. I think like this is a project which is using AI entities for entertainment purposes, and so probably now is the time to tell you the name and the URL of the website of this project. It is ai2ai.decentralizedweb.org. AI to AI is typed with letters A and I, then there is number 2, then there are two other letters A and I. Altogether AI to AI. Then there is dot, then there are two words, decentralized and web, and they are typed all together, decentralized web. Then there is dot, and it ends with org. Once again, AI to AI dot decentralizedweb.org. We are building this AI2AI project on specific platforms as programs for specific platforms, and the current platform that we're going to provide releases for are Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. The Windows platform release is going to be for 64-bit Windows based on x86 Intel or AMD processors. The Linux release is going to be 64-bit as well for Intel or AMD type of processors, and Mac OS is going to be also for 64-bit and for Intel or AMD processors. Shortly after this initial release for these three platforms, we're going to do a release for Android as an app, and releases for Mac OS based on ARM processor, and Linux 64-bit based on ARM processor as well. So these are going to be three other additional platforms that we're going to support. With this said, we are going to make an official release in the probably next week, in the next few days, like within the next a week or 10 days. And we're going to do also actively marketing for this project and reaching users so that they could start enjoying the interaction between different entities. So not to forget, I like to tell you that you're the person who is defining the interaction, and for example, the interaction could be you can specify the first entity to be very seductive, or the entity to be very angry, or the entity to try to sell you, to sell something, for example, sell a washing machine to the other AI entity, or whatever your rich imagination could think of letting one AI entity to start the interaction with. And with this said, I'm ending this educational presentation. Thank you for listening. Thank you for viewing. Have a nice day. Have a nice evening, and goodbye.